I do believe there's a real possibility here. The Week 2 game against the Baltimore Ravens, where we face Lamar Jackson, a two-time MVP, might be the second and last time we see Gardner Minshew as the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And let me be clear, I don't blame Gardner for us scoring just 10 points against the Los Angeles Chargers. The blame, in my opinion, falls on Antonio Pierce for not having the team ready and on the offensive line for not providing enough protection or getting the running game going. Without those elements, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is, unless you've got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow. You won't succeed without solid offensive line play and a decent running game. Now, most of us assumed Aiden O'Connell was the better quarterback. So when Gardner Minshew was named the starter, the reasoning behind it was pretty clear. Experience, not turning the ball over, and mobility. Antonio Pierce himself said that. But here's the problem. Gardner was sacked 4 times, so much for mobility, and he turned the ball over twice. Before we dive further into this, hit that subscribe button. Now back to the football talk. Those were the key reasons Antonio Pierce went with Gardner over Aiden O'Connell. When he made the announcement, he emphasized the need for a fast start. He breaks the season down into quarters. The first 4 games are against the Chargers, Ravens, Panthers, and Browns. The first 2 are tough road games against strong defenses, so Gardner's job was to move around, protect the football, and lead the team. In Game 1, he didn't do either of those things. He played okay, actually better than I expected, but he didn't do what earned him the starting job. As we head into Week 2 against the Ravens, we're 9.5-point underdogs, and honestly, that makes sense. We didn't look good in Week 1, and the Ravens are a stronger team. If they beat us, it won't be a shock. But how we lose will matter. If Gardner struggles again and we lose badly, I don't think he'll get the start in Week 3. I've said this before. If we go 0, 4, or even 1, 3 in these first 4 games, the team will make a change. But if we're 0, 2, and can't put up more than 10 points, I think they'll pull the plug on Gardner even sooner. If we score fewer than 10 points again in the second game, whether it's 14, 10, or 17, 6, there's no reason not to give our young 4th-round pick, Aiden O'Connell, a chance. In Week 3, we've got a much easier game at home against the Carolina Panthers, a team that's already been blown out. If we want to dive into a little conspiracy theory, maybe Antonio Pierce was trying to protect Aiden by not throwing him into the fire against Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and the tough Baltimore Ravens defense in the first 2 games. Maybe Pierce didn't want Aiden's confidence shaken by tough defenses, forcing him to turn back to the veteran Gardner Minshew. But after 1 game, it's clear that the plan hasn't worked. Not even close. The only reason we're having all these conversations about Gardner after just 1 game is because of how bad it was. We didn't reach the red zone once, except when Alexander Mattison caught the ball outside the red zone and ran it in. That's not good enough. If this is what our offense looks like with Gardner, why keep him as the starter? Antonio Pierce wanted a fast start, but we've started slower than anyone could have imagined. He's not going to wait around for Gardner to figure things out. Aiden O'Connell was ready, helmet on, waiting on the sideline for his chance. Maybe Aiden won't work out either, but there's no reason to keep Gardner in if we're moving this slowly. Sure, Gardner might have better mobility, but Aiden is a more accurate and refined passer. In my opinion, he's a better decision maker too. Even if Gardner made the right reads, he still threw a pass backward to no one. A mental mistake I don't think Aiden would have made. Yes, Aiden might get sacked more because he's not as mobile, but I think he'd take more chances downfield and try to fit the ball into tighter windows. To be clear, I'm not blaming Gardner for the loss. I'd say maybe 25% is on him. The bigger issue is the decision to play him when things clearly aren't working. Now, let's do a quick thought experiment. Close your eyes for a second. Picture Gardner Minshew in that game. The final score is 22-10. Now, imagine Aiden O'Connell had played instead. Do you see us scoring more points or fewer? Maybe the score stays the same, but is it more or less? Now open your eyes, I see more. I honestly think Aiden would have had a better grasp of the offense. He's the smarter, more cerebral quarterback and a more accurate passer. I've been saying this for months. He deserves a full season to prove himself. If we go into Baltimore and play hard but still lose because our offense can't score, what are we waiting for? Let's see what Aiden can do. It's not going to work out with Gardner, and we all know it. I mentioned this a few days ago. Gardner Minshew won 9 games with the Colts, and sure, we have better weapons now. But here's the thing. Gardner has never played with real expectations. He's never been in a situation where the roster is mostly complete, except for a couple of offensive linemen and a quarterback. Now, he's supposed to be the missing piece, like Rich Gannon, who finally found his groove in Las Vegas, leading the team to 10 wins and a playoff spot. That's a lot of pressure, and just because Gardner looks like he was born to be a Raider doesn't mean he can handle it. We don't know if Gardner is mentally capable of managing these expectations. Aidan O'Connell, on the other hand, has already played in a high-pressure, nationally televised game, Chiefs versus Raiders on Christmas Day in Kansas City with 30 million people watching. He didn't play great, but he didn't turn the ball over. We won the turnover battle 2-0 or 3-0 if you count a turnover on downs. If Aidan had made a rookie mistake and turned the ball over once, we might have lost that game. Instead, he kept the ball in the hands of our playmakers and ran the offense as instructed. In that intense situation, he got the job done by protecting the football. Now, Gardner's supposed to be playing because he's mobile and doesn't turn the ball over. But in just one game, he was sacked 4 times and turned the ball over twice. That speaks for itself. If we go into the Ravens game and our defense manages to shut down Lamar Jackson, but we still lose because our offense can't score, and we end up 0-2 when 16 or 17 points could have won us both games, I can't see how Max Crosby and Devontae Adams don't go to Antonio Pierce and demand a change. This is exactly what happened last year. We waited too long. If Aidan had started in that Detroit game or the Steelers game earlier in the season, maybe we flip those results and go from 9-9, 8 or 10, 7. We can't afford to wait until we're 3-5 again before switching from Gardner to Aidan. Yesterday's game felt like deja vu with Jimmy Garoppolo. It wasn't all on Jimmy back then, and it's not all on Gardner now, but we need to act before it's too late. We've got some winnable games after the Ravens: Panthers, Browns, Steelers, Broncos. 4 games we could win if we can just put up 20 points. We're not asking for a miracle here. If Gardner doesn't perform against the Ravens, it's time to give Aidan a shot and see what he can do. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to join the Discord. It's a free group chat where we're always talking during and after the games. The link is in the description. Also, join my Patreon for exclusive content, early access to videos, ad-free versions, and your name in the credits. Please be sure to subscribe. It's free and means the world to me. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.